Hello, right, so I'm going to be talking about sleep. I've been doing quite a bit about sleep recently. So I'm talking about the benefits of dairy before bed. And I wrote a post about, I've been writing a few posts about sleep and the benefits of certain foods to help with sleep. And so this is a post that I wrote about sleep. I'm kind of talking around the post, but also will kind of put in my few nuggets and my 2 pence worth where I see I can. Okay, so my name's Cheryl Best. I'm trained as a nutritional therapist. Some people call that a nutritionist. I'm also trained as a yoga teacher. I like to write and speak about health and wellness, especially when it comes to diet, herbs, vitamins, and when it comes to exercise. So obviously I've got an interest in exercise because I've been a yoga teacher for quite a lot of years. I've been practicing yoga for 24 years. And so I like to talk about exercise as well. So not sleeping well. So maybe you're not sleeping well, and the reasons for why you're not sleeping well could be numerous reasons. I mean, I've had issues with sleep in the past. At the moment, I tend to get about 6 hours of sleep, and I've spoken about this as well because of this thing about how many hours. You know, we have to have 8 hours of sleep every day, and some people thrive quite well with getting less than 8 hours sleep, and I'm one of those people. But there has been times when I've had issues with insomnia, and it's because I'm diagnosed with a disease called Graves' disease. Sounds absolutely horrible. And it's a disease of the thyroid, and it's an autoimmune disease. And so a symptom, if you are listening to this and you are a sufferer of Graves' disease, you will know what I'm talking about. But a symptom of Graves' disease is this not being able to sleep, this insomnia. And when I say not being able to sleep, this isn't like, and I'm not kind of downgrading people who have issues with insomnia where, you know, they're only getting, 2-3 hours of sleep a day. I'm not doing that at all because I know how that feels. But with Graves' disease, this is not getting sleep sometimes for days. In the thick of my disease, it was quite easy to not sleep for sometimes 2-3 days, and then you might get an hour's sleep. And then there's lots of other things that are going on, and it's hormonal and also an autoimmune disease. And so I know what it feels like to have these issues where you're not getting the sleep. And it's not that you're not getting sleep because you have so much energy that you can't sleep. It's that absolutely lethargic feeling, the brain fog. It's all the other things that come along with it as well. So there's numerous reasons why you might not be getting a good night's sleep. And so I'm going to be talking about the benefits of dairy foods and sleep. So the issues a lot of the times when it comes to sleep is due to a hormone called melatonin. And melatonin is a hormone that we all produce when it starts to get dark. So you might find that, around when it starts to get dark, if it's in your country, if that's around 8-9 o'clock, you might find then that's when you start to get sleepy. And that's all to do with what you call the circadian rhythms. So circadian rhythms is helping us, it's what happens naturally to allow us to sleep. But for some people, we are lacking in melatonin, and so low melatonin production equals low quality sleep. And so that is usually what's going on with a lot of people who are diagnosed with insomnia. Right, so the reasons, like I've said, are numerous. There's numerous reasons why. I mean, I've given you an example with myself where I've had an issue with a disease that was causing my issues with sleep. I've also had the other end where I have another disease. And I talk about these diseases. I wouldn't say that I'm suffering with these diseases currently, but I have another disease which is also classed as a chronic illness, as in that there's no cure for it. But with that disease, it was the opposite. So it wasn't insomnia. It was more so that I was having too much sleep. So I know what it's like to be at both ends of the scale. So one huge reason for insomnia, unfortunately, is just getting older. And so if you are in my age bracket over 40, it's most likely that you are producing a lot less melatonin at that age than you were when you were a teenager. So melatonin production reduces as we get older. And I know it's not fair that we're getting punished because we're over 40, but that is just how it is. So melatonin reduction is also associated with the following diseases. So it's also associated with dementia. It's associated with mood disorders such as depression and anxiety. It's associated with severe pain, cancer, and diabetes. So if you are kind of diagnosed with some of those sort of things, if you're experiencing those things, then you may have found that to come along with it is insomnia. These things are happening alongside with it. And that is because of chemical reactions in the body that's causing a low production of melatonin. Right, so dairy foods. Dairy foods can be a huge help. And the reason why is because dairy foods are rich in an amino acid, a protein called tryptophan. And tryptophan is needed for melatonin production. So by increasing dairy foods like milk, cottage cheese, I say, well, cheese in general, but I'm saying cottage cheese because it's the more healthier type of cheese. And I'm saying it as well because I'm talking about foods that you could possibly be having prior to sleep. Now, if I was to say about having cheese generally, which cheese generally is good, but it does also have a high fat content, and it can be quite acidic as well. So it might be better for you to be looking at the cottage cheese route instead of looking at other types of cheeses. Okay, and then there's also yogurts. So cottage cheese, milk, yogurts, very good form of dairy type foods. Right, so when is it best to eat these types of foods? And I've kind of given a hint to this already. Well, if you can tolerate it, because it all depends on you really, for some people, eating dairy foods might not be the best thing for them to be doing before bed, especially if they're having issues with digestion. But if you can tolerate it, 1 to 2 hours before bedtime would be fantastic. So for me, as an example, I know that I couldn't tolerate having milk, and I'm not great with milk anyway, but that's a conversation for another day. For cow's milk, to be exact, I'm not the best with milk. So I know for me, if I was to have a milky drink before bed, it's not going to be good for me. But if you know that, yeah, I can tolerate milk, then that would be a good thing. A nice warm glass of milk before bed would be a good thing for you if that's something that you can tolerate. Cottage cheese with a slice of bread. Now, the slice of bread can be very important. It has been shown that if you have carbohydrates, which bread would be classed as a carbohydrate, if you're having carbohydrates, then it can actually help with boosting sleep. So carbohydrate with protein, with the amino acid tryptophan, can help with absorption, because what tends to happen is with amino acids, protein-based foods, there will be other proteins in the food, and so tryptophan is quite a weak amino acid. So if you are having proteins on its own, if you're just having, let's say if you were just going to have some cheese on its own, then in your body there'll be a fight. There'll be a fight between these amino acids, which one wants to get through. And a lot of the time, tryptophan is the loser. It's not going to get through. But if you have it with carbohydrate-based foods, then it's giving it a bit of a helping hand. It helps it to get through into the body. All right, so cottage cheese with a slice of bread would be really good. And then natural yogurt with a handful of fruits and a sprinkle of granola. So you'd be getting your carbohydrates in by having the granola. That would be a really good choice. So if you can manage that, and you know that your body can tolerate it, I would say go for it. See how that works. So you might be asking now, well, okay, if I do this, Cheryl, how long is it going to take? And I'm going to reply, how long's a piece of string? Because with everything that comes natural, anything that I talk about when it comes to natural kind of things, it all does depend on the person. So we both might do the same thing, and you might find that you start seeing the results from it after a few days, whereas for me, it might be a few weeks. So it's not something that I can say that, yes, if you have this, then this is going to happen. You're going to feel the benefits of this straight away. I can't tell you that. It's something that you really have to go and try, commit to it for maybe a few weeks, not something that you're going to commit to for a few days. And then if it doesn't work after a few days, you're going to ditch it. You have to really commit to this. If you really want to see results, maybe giving it a month and seeing how you get on there before you ditching it and then saying that it doesn't work, because like I said, we're all so different. So one thing that I would advise is to keep a diary. So keep a diary to track your sleep and tracking, how many times did I get up? So when you are doing this practice of maybe having your warm glass of milk, just jot down, did I get up? How many times did I get up in the night? Did I have good sleep? How did I wake up? Did I feel refreshed when I woke up? Or it may be that you felt pretty groggy when you woke up, but you found that you had this energy throughout the day. So it's things like that you could be recording in your diary. And then over time, then you can look back and then say, okay, maybe this is working. Maybe by me having this warm glass of milk before bed, I'm seeing now that 2 weeks ago, yes, I wasn't really seeing or feeling the effects of it, but now I am. Because it's very subtle when you're making these changes, and you have to really compare things to maybe how you were 2-3 months ago to kind of where you were yesterday. That's how you have to work with a lot of things, especially when it comes to doing things that are natural. So go out there and have a go. Have a go at increasing your dairy intake. And fingers crossed, you'll get a better night's sleep. It's probably not going to happen today, and it's probably not going to happen tomorrow, but in weeks to come, you might find that this could work for you. Okay, so go out there and give it a go and see how things go. All right, so I will finish it up right there. So have a fantastic day. Have a go. If you are somebody that has problems with sleeping, give these things a go. I'm going to keep talking about sleep, and over time, I'll be recommending other things. So recommending nutrients as well to try, because there are some things as in vitamin, mineral and herb wise, and to do with amino acids that you could be taking that can help with sleep. But I won't go into all that today. So in time, I will recommend things like that as well. So have a go at diet first. Try the dairy, see how that works. And once you're trying that, keep a diary. So keep that diary and monitor and see how things are going. Okay, so you take care. Have a fantastic, wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye.